This week, we're going to dive right into how we make our relationship work through challenges, what to do when the honeymoon phase ends, how to create a new honeymoon phase, and how we deal with challenges like everyday challenges, right? Money, finances, exes, social media, all the things that create the non-honeymoon phase and how we've been able to create it ourselves. Hello, muses. Welcome to this week's episode. I have my amazing fiance here, TJ.
It's good to be in our living room.
I know. Welcome to our living room. This is our couch. We have a whole setup here. We actually recorded this yesterday for 45 minutes and it never recorded in our system. So we had a trial run, so that's good. At least we know what we're talking about exactly today. Welcome, honey.
Yes, it's good to be back.
Thank you for letting me do this twice.
Yes, of course. That's part of partnership and relationship and the love I have for you.
Oh, thank you. I'll have to pay for this twice now. The
payment is dear. Yes, I'm excited.
So this week, I really wanted to just come on here and talk about some challenges and things that happen in relationships and how the honeymoon phase can maybe like fade or start feeling like it's not there anymore. And things that we have found, especially in the last 6 months, because we have gone through some challenges and just life things. We've been together for over 2 years, 2 years and a half or so. We're getting married in a few months. Yep. And things just got a little more intense the last 6 months. And it's helped us create something really amazing and create like this whole new honeymoon phase. And we wanted to talk about them because I feel like if it's helped us to get to this point, it could help other people.
That's right.
So first, let's start off with like the few challenges that we've had here in the last 6 months. I would say that I started my own business. I have a commercial insurance agency. TJ and I moved in together about a year ago, a little more than a year ago now. Mm-hmm. And just like life just hit us all at once. You were doing and navigating some like struggles and things of your own. I was navigating and going through my own struggles. I started working with a somatic therapist. Just a lot of places, at least for myself, I felt like my capacity had to increase. And then we had challenges just in the relationship too, a lot of tension, a lot of things, outside things that were happening. Yeah. And I feel like
normal life stuff. I mean, really, everyone goes through these kind of things. But when it's your life, it looks a little different than, of course, everyone else's. Yeah. So it's easy to step away and look at normal life, challenges and think, oh, well, that's normal. But once you're in it, it feels a lot more.
Right. And sometimes it happens all at once. And I feel like that's what was happening to us is like so many things are happening at once.
Yeah.
And I love that you always talk about valleys and peaks. And we were definitely in a valley. And right now we're in such a great peak. But it didn't come easy to get here.
That's right.
And so we kind of want to talk about that first. And I don't know, let's start off with what you think kind of started us getting here to this point and like maybe things that we had to figure out within ourselves and within the relationship to get to this point.
Well, I mean, we're talking about honeymoon phase, so everyone goes through a honeymoon phase at the beginning of a relationship. That's easy stuff.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't say it's easy stuff. It's the fun stuff, you know?
Yeah.
It's the fun stuff that happens, before you fully maybe know someone. And so it's fun and it's amazing, but it's not the deep stuff, right? So I think that's one thing that maybe even in today's society, most people don't realize. We've all probably been in short-term relationships and jumped ship and then gone to another short-term relationship. And how many short-term relationships of having the honeymoon phase at the beginning are fun, but then how do you get to the point where you actually have the deep stuff? And I think there's some people out there that never even touch the deep stuff, right? Because they're jumping from short-term to short-term and thinking that first honeymoon is where all the magic is. And why not just stick with that? Because they're not sure how to get to the deep stuff, right? So I know that in our relationship, we early on had a lot of deep conversations. I think you've mentioned a lot on your podcast, is being able to like really get to some deeper key points that we both thought were important for us to set a groundwork for being able to get to that deep honeymoon phase. And there's just so many of them, of course, for us to get there. And I think that's why we're doing this.
And I agree with you. I think the honeymoon phase is the easier one because it's very like nonchalant. Like it kind of just happens. It doesn't take and require a lot of effort. Everyone's showing their best selves, like you've mentioned before. And then it all just comes to a head when like the real person comes out and comes through. Thankfully, I think we both love our real selves too, like in each other's real selves. Right. And I think that was an easier way to navigate that because once we started seeing even layers of each other, that were like, oh, I didn't know that existed, or I didn't know that was there. It wasn't that hard to love those parts too because we do appreciate and respect each other. And I think a lot of that is what's missing nowadays. I think people are not even getting to that respect and honoring each other and loving each other because they can't even do that within themselves, let alone somebody else. So I feel like that's where like it all just comes to a head when the honeymoon phase ends. Is like, you're not perfect and this doesn't feel perfect and I don't want this is bullshit, you know.
Sure.
It's all on you, and then people just leave, and like you're right, then they create this cycle of like going into different places. I think for us and for me, especially in this period, this last 6 months, and getting to know each other deeper, I think what really has helped us create this next honeymoon, which really has come from creating emotional safety.
Right.
And we'll talk about how we create emotional safety in all those different areas of life. But before all that started, we had to like really go into our wounds and our past and like the ways that we've shown up in relationships before. What are our defaults? Like, I think for me, my default a lot of the time was, okay, well, you did something that hurt me. I'm going to shield myself up. I'm going to get angry. And then because I can't even deal with my own emotions of feeling this angry or hurt or whatever, then I just want to leave. I want to escape. I want to run away because that's how I feel like I'm protecting myself. And it's a false sense of safety. It's not really making me feel safe, him feel safe, or anyone. And I think some things came up for you and some triggers came up for you then too when I was in those stages, in those moments.
Sure. Yeah, she ran away a couple times, and
not like just in my car,
just
for a couple hours,
leaving,
Not for
it was
long.
tragic. It was tragic. And for me,
Yeah.
it meant that you weren't willing to stick around.
Right.
And that was something for me, like, all right, on a drop of a dime, you can leave. Well, that doesn't make me feel safe either. So that was one of mine.
Yeah.
Yours was to leave. So we had two that just like were really not
Crashed.
working together.
Yeah.
And so we had to have conversations that said, I think being able to build a place, and we talked about this, of safety, of comfort, of being able to be your partner's safe place, sounds perfection, heaven, but takes a lot of work to get to. And if you put in the work, it is so worth it, because I think that's when you build this amazing heaven on earth with your partner, when your partner is your safe place. And I can honestly say, based on what we've gone through, that you're my safe place. I know I can come to you with things. I'm your safe place. You've told me that before. We tell each other that because I believe that we are, but we've had to get to the point where we had to really exercise how we dealt with feeling tension in our relationship to get there.
Yeah, totally. And being able to explain that and communicate that with each other, like, hey, when you leave, that makes me feel like you don't want to be here. And I was like, well, shit, I don't want to make you feel like that. So I had to put my shields down and be like, well, that's not what I'm trying to do. Actually, I'm trying to protect myself. So let me find better ways to protect myself in the relationship. And that really meant just being more vulnerable with you, softer with you, doing the things that I've never been taught I don't like to do. And it's easier to do when you're not in those activated, triggered places.
Sure.
And when you're in those places, it's like, how do I do this? I don't want to.
It's the hardest time to do,
I don't want
right?
to. I'm just rather, can I just go off on a drive and come back whenever?
Right.
And vice versa. I think for you, a lot of the times it was like, if I came up to you with an emotion, it was like, maybe she's not trying to attack me. I just need to hear her out. And there's this like dance. I don't know if it's like one person does it first. I know there's a lot of things on Instagram. It's like the man leads and he sets the tone. He does in so many ways. But when there's conflict, there's things that are happening. It takes two people. And I think it really should, like, you have to be a team. You have to think of yourself as a team. It's not like he always leads and I just have to follow. And if he's acting like X, Y, and Z and I don't like it, then I act X, Y, and Z too. And then two explosions it's not going to make anything better. No. And vice versa. Like, it's not on the woman always to just do it either. And it's a dance. It's like a give and take, and being okay with it not being perfect. I think this is a big one for me because for a long time I needed things to look perfect and feel perfect. And being in this industry and helping women, mentoring them, like, I felt like almost like a fraud because I was like, if I can't get my own shit together, how will I tell anyone else how to get their shit together?
Right.
And when old wounds and triggers and pain and things come up, it's like, it's so much harder to do it and see it clearly. So if you're in that space, like, know that that's normal. And you have to be intentional, though. You have to, like, the intention has to be, and I think we do a good job at this, at always being like, where's our end point? Like, we want to be together forever. We want to be connected.
Yeah.
So are we doing things that get us to this end
That's
point?
Right. Building that comfort, and building that safe place. I mean, this is life. Life happens, right? So you may have a bad day, and I may have a good day and I say something about my good day that triggers for something the fact that you've had a stressful day, and vice versa, you know? I mean, there's little things that happen in all relationships, and how you are able to come to the table together. And honestly, you get to the point where I think to find that safe place, like for me to find the safe place with you, I have to pay attention to you to know the signs of how you're feeling and what you're going through, or checking in with you, or knowing what's going on with you.
Yeah.
I'm exercising that in order to know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So isn't it extremely important, you know, in a relationship to simply pay attention to your partner?
Yeah.
Like you're not just in a relationship and you're like, okay, check the auto mode and I'm just going to cruise now.
Right.
Because now I got someone in bed every night and I got someone to go home to whenever I want it, and that's all I need to worry about. I mean, that's not how it
That's
works.
how breakups happen. And divorces happen. Yeah. It's true.
It's true.
And you always say, and I love that you say that, you're like, I'm a student of you, and I'm a student of you too. It's like you have to, like I always tell him, like he's 50 years old. He just turned 50. He was like 47 when I met him. I met him before that, but when we started dating, 47. And he has 47 years of life that I don't know about.
Right.
Like it's going to take me the rest of my life to like know and understand him to even the levels that he understands himself, or even more. Who knows? Like,
Sure.
it's going to take a while. And for us to think, like you said, you're in a relationship or you're married and it's like, well, great, now I could just cruise. It's naive to think that. And it's also, you're almost expecting the other person to just put up with whatever happens and not give them that, and not feed them that same emotional connection that you had at the beginning, the same excitement, right? All these different things. And so let's talk a little bit about that, because life happens, right? And then it doesn't feel that warm and fuzzy when shit hits the fan and things are happening, and you know, things feel a little crazy. And so we're going to talk about a little bit of everything: money, exes, social media, work, business, like how we navigate all these things. Actually, blended family too, like how we have Avery half the time, like all these different stressors and things in life and challenges that can be really hard for a relationship, and how we've learned to create that emotional safety now in order to feel like we're in this like other honeymoon that feels even more exciting than ever before. And so let's start off with like business and work, because TJ's a powerhouse. Tell them a little bit about what you do.
I run two businesses. I'm a serial entrepreneur, I often say. And a workaholic. I feel inspired by being busy and doing.
And I love that. It's so
I'm
sexy.
rewarded by it, and it feels good, you know. And I'm in a chapter of life that is very much work career oriented, timing of doing things right now.
Right. And I have my podcast, I mentor women, and I also have a commercial insurance business that I just started that takes up most of my day and most of my time. And then we also, I'll just talk about work and business now. And so I think it's helped us both in order to create safety where we're both busy, but we're like, wait, the relationship's still very important and a high priority for both of us. You started this and you talked about it. You're like, less scheduled date nights.
Yep.
That started at the beginning of a relationship.
Yeah.
That emotional safety.
Because we all get busy, and you're going to default to having time, rabbit ears, for whatever's left. And if you don't make time for what's most important, you will not have time for what's most important, right?
And that's been something we've been consistent with since we started dating, and that's been so helpful, especially since I moved in. I think like before we just had we were long distance for about a year, so we were just like
every night we were together was date night.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're like purposeful about them, and we get excited about them, and we make it a big deal. We've scheduled travel, and also when there's challenges and there's things, if emotions come up or things are like hard, we make that a priority. So like when we get home or after we're done with our day, like we'll talk about what needs to be talked about. Actually, just yesterday, I wanted to talk to him about something that I'd been dealing with and emotions that were coming up. And he like came and sat down in my office right after work, and I was like, you can go shower. I want you to relax and feel good. But it meant so much to me that he was like, I'm here. I'm present. Like, what do we need to talk about? How can I support you? And that felt really good. And you using those words. And so no matter how busy we are with things and businesses, like neither of us feel that like, I'm not too busy to make you dinner and to serve you and to like please you and to give to you, you know, and you're not too busy to hold space for me, give me safety, give me date nights, like give me flowers, like all these different things. Like I think both men and women need these things. Yeah. And even though we're busy with things, we're not like too busy for that. And that's helped create safety there.
I would add a caveat that it's something that we've established very solidly in our minds.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that that it normally would come. I'm not saying it doesn't come naturally. I'm saying it doesn't come naturally
Consistently,
to
maybe.
consistently make it a high priority.
Totally.
Like
You're
it's
right.
something that we have had conversations about consistently, and that's what's helped us get to the point that it's a priority. I think if anyone out there listening is with someone as a partner and you don't feel like you're a priority, you know what I'm talking about. Because that won't work. You know, it
Right.
doesn't work.
It doesn't
You
work,
don't
yeah.
feel the safe place. You don't feel
Yeah.
like you're your partner's safe place if you don't feel like you're a priority. So you
Totally.
have to establish a relationship that has that as an absolute,
Yeah.
ground rule.
Right. And I think for both of us, that was important, even though we're so ambitious and we liked and love doing all these other things too.
Right.
And so that was like almost easier. That's a big one, right? Because most people, we work and we have business, and that's usually what takes the most time out of people's lives. And then we'll get into blended family. We have Avery half the time. I think we do such an effortless job at like having her, because when we have her, we make it about her. But we're like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And it becomes an us thing.
That's right.
And so even then, it's like we find spaces. I mean, we hug, we kiss, like we play, we banter. Like even when we have Avery around, it's not hard.
No.
You know, it doesn't
Nor
feel.
should it. Nor should it. be.
Right.
Right.
And we
Yeah.
found safety in just communication too. It's like, oh, I need this, or hey, I'm feeling. You know, you're very in tune with my emotions too, and what I'm needing and feeling. And same with him when he's tired. I'm like, Avery, let's help Dad. You have to be in tune. That creates safety with the blended families too, or any family. Like if you have kids, we just have her part time. We don't have kids of our own, so every scenario is different. But you have to really talk about what creates safety for both of you in those situations, because very easily I could feel like a third wheel, like I'm not important. Very easily, I don't know, I can be playing with Avery and he could feel like, well, you guys aren't even including me or whatever. You know, it could very easily become something that stresses the couple and the relationship and that safety, right?
Right.
What's another one? Like money, I guess, is another stressor.
Yeah, one of the top, I think, relationship stress.
How we found safety, emotional safety with money.
Well, thankfully, I think we're both fairly independent, and we've decided in our relationship, which I dare say is the right way to do it, but to have separate accounts and to keep things separate on that line of things, and certainly like tag team things that are important or life stuff together. But for the most part, we've decided to keep those separate, and I think that helps a lot because we both are very independent people, and it works well for us for that. But I can see, I mean, we laugh about it, but there I've been in relationships. I've definitely seen enough relationships where usually in the partnership, one is more the adult person in the relationship and the other person is more the child in the relationship. And the person that's the child usually tends to become more child because they rely on the person that's the adult to take care of all the money stuff and all the important stuff. And that it causes such a tension rift, I think, because you want to feel together on it. You got to be more adult and the other person isn't willing to be there with you. Yeah, that's tough.
That's tough, right?
Yeah.
Totally. And then we talked about this before we moved in, and we talked about what it would look like when we got married. And we joined things together, and there's things that you're responsible for and you take care of, and that helps me feel safe because I don't have to worry about them.
Right.
And I worry about things that he doesn't want to worry about, and that just helps us in feeling safe emotionally in the relationship when it comes to money. And I think we're both open to like talk about. I mean, we still tell each other things too. I think that's something big. Like, even though we have our own things, we still have the same priorities. I guess that helps with the emotional safety. Is like right now our weddings are priority, so like our priority is doing that. If I were to be like, I'm gonna go buy a 20,000 whatever, you'll be like, what are you doing? You know, we're trying to spend money on our wedding, not on something else.
Not a good time for
that. So we're on the same page about those things, and that helps the safety portion as well too. And I think that's really helpful. You just have to have the hard conversations, even if it's uncomfortable. And I know for me as a woman, like, some things feel uncomfortable, especially if I've never had them before. I've had a lot of firsts with TJ, like the way he takes care of things, the way he provides, the way he is my safety, like emotionally. The other day when he said to me, like, I'm your safe space, like that just like it helped me heal just hearing that. And you can't get that unless I've had all the tough conversations, like, hey, I feel like this and it's messy and it's maybe it's ugly. I didn't say it perfectly. It came out ugly or whatever. I get to do it again. I say, I'm sorry. Hey, I could have done that better. Just the other day, I was like all heated up about something, and I was like, wait, I think I missed you telling me something that you're navigating through, and I'm there just being like all feisty Latina.
Never happens.
And I should have probably taken a stab. That happens often. And I need to know when to step in the Latina and when to step her back. But I realized that, like, it was okay. Like, I did that, and I caught myself, and I get to apologize and say, no, that's not the partner I want to be. Without all those things and all the messiness and trying to be better, both of us, you don't get to the soft, sweet space of, like, TJ being all these firsts for me. And I hope I am for you in so many ways, because I've never had a relationship like this. I've never felt so connected and so in deep love with somebody, because I see all of him, all his layers. And, and that takes, like, really putting all of your good and all of your ugly out there.
Right.
For him and her to see.
Yeah.
And that's
vulnerable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's vulnerability, with someone.
Yeah.
But someone that that you're safe to be vulnerable with. And,
right.
So establishes, having someone like that means, in order to find that, you have to have the conversations that get you to that point. This doesn't happen overnight. This is time, but that's what a relationship is. That's what spending forever with someone is taking the time through all that to have each of those conversations that get you deeper and deeper toward that forever honeymoon.
Right.
Yeah.
Where we're at right now.
Where we're at right now.
And I guess the next one is, like, what? Like, I'm just going to join these, like, social media and exes.
Good, yeah.
Because I think that could be a big one too, especially in the world we live in. We're both very active on social media. I think this was a topic we talked about early on, but we've had multiple conversations about how how we both show up on social media, and just being really, like, just straight up open, like, this is my person, and really cutting off all the energetic ties to other people. We all know. I mean, TJ was single for longer than I was single. There's things that you do on social media when you're single that you shouldn't do when you're in a relationship. Can't say that I've always been that great at doing that, but I've been great now.
It's good. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. Yay me.
Yeah. Yay for me
I'm
too.
learning.
No, social media, I think in today's world, obviously, social media is huge.
Yeah.
It's part of our lives to a very large extent. So how you show up, I know people that have had a hard time getting into a relationship because of how important social media people were in their lives. And that's sad.
Yeah.
If you think about what that means. So they are lacking the opportunity to be in a relationship with one person because they couldn't, walk away from all the people that they had on the connections they had. You got to have mirror moments and look in the mirror and say, what's more important to me? Is this relationship important? And then have the conversation with the person, all right, what does it look like for us to be in a relationship on social media too, and you have to be able to have some tough conversations. I think we both decided early on that we expected, and I think expected in the best use of the term, each other to be 100% faithful to what we wanted to do. And if we wanted to be together, we would not engage in anything that did not look like that.
Yeah, and that was important.
Behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, in all aspects.
Right, because social media is just an extension of our lives at this point. I'm not okay with him liking other women's pictures, because that's like him tapping some girl in the street and saying, I like your outfit, I like your tits, I like your boobs, I like whatever.
Right.
Just like me walking around half naked wouldn't be okay for him.
Right.
So why would I post a half naked picture? And I think it's big on social media where women want a man that respects them by not liking girls' pictures, but very easily do we sometimes post pictures or sexier things, or we think it's okay for us to do it, but they can't like it. And no one's willing to go first, and I think that's a bigger thing. And even if he were to continue doing it, I wasn't going to compromise myself. These were my standards for myself. Of, like, I'm going to show up like this in this relationship. If he's going to do that, then I will just step away. Right. And you didn't. You stepped in. You stepped in, and he did the same.
But you showed me respect, and that was huge for me, because I haven't run into a lot of women that would do that.
Yeah.
In today's world, I think you're right. I think that's just like a woman should be able to post anything she wants, and that's the term put out there, and there's no conversation about, well, what does it look like to, if you're in a relationship, to respect the person you're with and to show, well, it might not be that exciting. You're not going to get that many likes, and oh, darn, but what do you get for it? What we're talking about. a forever honeymoon? You know, what does that look like? I mean, how do you get to the point? You do have to make decisions to get to that point.
Yeah, you forfeit the attention and the validation for a real, true connection with another human being.
Yeah.
Because social media people don't matter.
Yeah. Right.
The likes don't matter. None of that really matters, but it's so easy and it just gives us such a big dopamine hit that we think like that's what really matters. And I think as a woman, yes, we want to feel sexy. We want to look our best. And of course, I'll post up me dressed up and whatever, but I've been very even more intentional with the way I dress up because I realize that a man that loves you and respects you, a man that follows God, a man that has all these great values, is not okay with a woman dressing half naked. It's not okay with a woman posting these things. And in the past, anyone that I've been with that has been okay with it, I was just like a trophy and it was for his ego. It wasn't a deep connection. It wasn't somebody that actually truly valued me and wanted to protect me. And so there's a difference between protection and control, and you've never tried to control me. It's more been like, hey, I'm a man. I know how men feel, and that doesn't make me feel good if you were to dress like that, or if you were to post that. And same thing with you. I've been like, I don't feel good if you post or you like some girl's pictures, because I've been on the other side of that where I'm like, that poor girl or that poor wife has no idea that this man's liking all my pictures, my stories. How pathetic.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
That's just how it would make me feel.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's been a good one and a big one for both of us.
To get to that point. Yeah.
Well, it's created that safety where we both are like, we feel good where we're at with it. We're not looking over our shoulder. We're not thinking like, is my partner messaging someone? Is someone liking their stuff?
Well, and that's what's helped produce that safety, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm safe with you. I mean, we're not just telling each other, we're showing each other, you're safe with me.
Yeah.
And we've even talked, I mean, since being together, we both
don't get likes anymore.
Our likes are so far down on our social media account. Yeah. But honestly, we haven't been
unless
more.
Unless we get engaged. That was a big one. You're saying get engaged every week.
Huge likes, yes, I guess so. But you know, in the big picture, I mean, you still execute your business and you do your thing. But I mean, what we have is so much more important than trying, to have this social media presence. And these are good challenges because you can't have everything. So you have to pick things in life. And if that's what you want, then go get it, Yeah. But I mean, to find the forever honeymoon is not going to happen with certain other decisions, right? I mean.
Yeah. And I think we've had multiple conversations about it. And like I said, it's been throughout our relationship because I also think social media is so much in our face that we don't realize even what's being shown to us. And so it just kind of goes in the subconscious. And so to me, it was like important, like I mute, block, whatever. Like my feed is what I want to consume and what I want to be thinking of because it's going to be in there. And so for you, is like if your feed was all like half naked women, it's no different than him going to the strip club and seeing a bunch of like ass and boobies,
Mm-hmm.
And so at that, even those conversations we've had, it's like, it might seem innocent, like, oh, it's just a reel, I didn't even like it, like, it doesn't matter. It's still like these algorithms are meant to learn us how we think, how we feel, what we look at, all these different things. And so if we're not intentional about clearing out and filtering it out, they're going to try to, Instagram, social media, the government, all these things are just trying to keep us divided, unmarried, not in deep connections. They want us attached to our phones, attached to
consumers.
They want us as consumers. And so we have to be intentional about that. And we've talked about that a lot too.
Sure.
Okay, next one. Exes. All right, exes, I guess I said I would join these together, but I think exes could be a real big stressor in relationships because some people still have ties to their exes or feel connections still to their exes, and that can create unnecessary tension in a relationship and feelings of not feeling safe. And I love that TJ didn't really have like close relationships with any of his exes. So that wasn't a big one. And same for me. And I think, we can keep this one short because it's irrelevant, I think, in our relationship. But we both set really big boundaries and continue to set boundaries with the people that we've been in relationships with because our priorities are relationship.
Yeah, easy.
Easy, period.
Hope it's that easy for you.
Yeah. Cut it off. It's a past. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, energetically, it doesn't need to be there.
Priorities. Where are your priorities? Sitting down and just prioritizing and then executing in priorities. As simple as that sounds, if you did that, you could probably eliminate a lot of problems in life. You know?
Right. And being okay with hurting other people's feelings. It's not your partner's because they're not the priority.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a big one. Regardless of it being an ex or a family member or anyone else, it's like, I think we both have such a great deep connection. Even our family members, everyone respects it and no one's just trying to like budget and, like they know that we respect each other so much. And That's important.
Right.
And all these different things has created a lot of emotional safety for us here in the last 6 months, especially. And we truly believe that this is what has caused, and I guess this is the effect of the hard conversations, going through those valleys. And so if you're going through a valley, know that you can get to another peak, and it is possible. You both just have to be on the same page. And sometimes if, like we've talked about it, like if we're a teammate, like if he's having a rough time, maybe staying stuck in anger, whatever, like it's up to me to say, hey, let's get back to this when we're feeling a little more tamed, and vice versa. You're a team, right? Like if the goal is the same, I don't know, do you have another like little tip of how you get to this point? Because I feel like this new phase is like an even better honeymoon than the beginning of our relationship. I feel so in love and like on a cloud nine lately.
Yeah, it feels amazing. I think in a lot of ways, well, I've mentioned it before, but I believe in valleys.
Yeah.
And I believe in peaks, and I think that you have to go. I think life is full of chapters, and I think whenever in our minds we put forth this idea that we have to have perfection all the time, and if you're not at a perfect point, that, oh my gosh, my whole world's out of whack. I think that is a very dangerous place to be. I think you always have to be aware of different chapters in life and different chapters in relationships, and that is progress and that is forward movement. And sometimes you have to go through dark times. Sometimes you have to go through stuff that's tougher. And it's the execution of going through that, of having to work at it, of having to kind of trudge through it, of having to learn some different muscles of your relationship, right? Of us having to grow and talk and have tough conversations that we had to, if we hadn't done that, we wouldn't be here. So the peak comes after going through the valley. And if you just stay on one level, okay, we're on auto relationship mode, you never get to a peak.
Yeah.
There's no peaks. So you have to have the valleys, and you have to be willing to go through them together to get up to the next peak, And honestly, like, life is full. I mean, if anyone's lived life long enough, you're going to know there's plenty of valleys and plenty of peaks. So just always know, like, even if you're in a valley, take heart. There's a peak coming.
Yeah.
And I got to keep moving. The worst thing to do is stop.
Yeah.
Because then you never get there.
So
and I think we decided, as we had some rougher times, normal expansion of a relationship, that we just had to try different things and have conversations. And I remember, one of the conversations we had where I was trying to figure out why, we're kind of in a rut, what's going on. And I thought back to our original honeymoon, and I was like, man, we text all the time and we appreciated things about each other, and we had great, you complimented me every day, I complimented you every day. I remember reaching out to you and being like, hey, I know things are on the tougher side, but maybe if we got back to just saying something nice about each other every day, that maybe that might help.
Yeah.
And I think we tried that for a little bit, and I think that might have been the start of like kicking us out of a rut,
Yeah, you did that. It was you. You're right.
But I mean, that's moving
idea.
forward. That's one step forward. And sometimes you just have to think outside the box. What's one step forward that I can do to grow toward the place I want to be? And we've always said the place we want to be is each other's safe place, a committed, heartfelt relationship moving forward, and authentic.
And that felt so good to me to hear that text or read that text when you sent it, because I was like, man, this is him not only trying but also going back to like a positive place. And like you said, when you're in those valleys, if you can't think positive in those valleys, like that's where people get stuck in those ruts.
Yeah.
And I felt like that meant so much to me too when you texted that, and we started doing that. We continue to do that, and that just means a lot. And that's what keeps you in those peaks too. It's like we're both business owners, and if you've owned a business or anything like that, it's like you can't get your finger off the pulse.
Yeah.
Because then things go haywire, and it's the same in a relationship.
Yeah.
If it's something meaningful. And I think a lot of benefits to being in the second honeymoon is that we don't doubt each other. Like we don't question where he's at, what he's doing. Yeah. Like there's more emotional safety. There's less thought process of like the things being bad or like things not going well, and it's allowed so much expansion for us to think of other things.
Sure.
Not only we're planning our wedding now, but we're like, where we're going to travel next, when we buy our next rental property, like all these things. And if you're not growing and increasing your capacity as in a relationship, like you're not living, you're not doing things right, you're not being fulfilled in the relationship. And so when you're in these peaks, that's like when you can expand and grow more. And like right now we're in such a great place, and that's why we really wanted to make this episode. So we hope that it's helped you guys to just know that we all go through it. We will go through another valley again, and at least we feel stronger now. Like now I know that we can get through anything. I already knew that kind of, but like now it's so like foundationally concrete for me that we can get through anything, because we've went through so much in just such a short period of time that I think would have made a lot of people crumble. And we did not crumble because we're strong.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we have purpose, and we have a connection that we believe in, you know?
Yeah.
And to get that, we did all these things, right? You know?
It's a process.
So it's possible for everyone. You do have to make some tough choices and some priority moves.
Yeah.
But man, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place to be.
You don't just need one honeymoon.
No. I can't wait to see what the next one looks like, the next honeymoon looks like. And lots of sex. That's a big part of the honeymoon phase.
Speaking of my payment for
I know, I have
2
to
episodes.
pay him for 2 episodes. One that never recorded. This is how I get him on the podcast, people. All right, everyone has a price.
We all do.
All right, well, I'll see you guys next week.